to anyone that might come by this video. Um, I'm in my bedroom this time. I have to be able to see my dog readily because he had his surgery and he likes to lick the sutures. They're almost due to come out. So I have to watch him. And so I've not been. This video is gonna be about do the people I come in contact with know that there's something off sometimes about me. But I am gonna explain a little bit absences. I'm still not 100% on health stuff, GI stuff. Now I'm on this really restrictive diet. FODMAP? MADFOP? I keep getting it wrong. FADMOP? FAPMOD? There are sugars. Like lactose, sucrose, sugars that end in OL. I have this on the fridge, everything I eat, punch in my phone. To see if it's low in FODMAP. It's FODMAP, FODMAP. That stands for the different sugars. And it just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense when you think of your usual, what you're taught about a diet, a healthy diet plan. Like, they tell you greens are anything green, and I can have green beans, but I can't have broccoli. So, part of it is wheat, so gluten-free. I first started just gluten-free, and it really helped my mood too. Really lifted my mood, and I was more animated, and that's what my mom said. I was like a different person. And I got a month out of that, but it seems that that's only part of when you take out wheat, when you have a gluten-free diet. It's like a FODMAP diet in that sense, but it doesn't eliminate the sugars, all of the sugars. So, and it's all really expensive stuff. I mean, I don't understand how people can live on diets like this because my mom bakes the bread with gluten-free flour, and anyway, just like, I can't have just peanut butter that you grab off the shelf. It's got to be just peanuts and no sugars, and that's expensive. I can't just grab jelly, it has to be nothing with fructose is like the biggest thing. It's really hard to figure out is, a good coffee. And anyway, this isn't about diet. This is about bipolar disorder and anxiety. And I kind of approached it like this. I told my mom I'm going to be doing a YouTube video on something, and I have to ask you a question for me to be able to do it. She's like, okay, she's kind of used to that. Um, and if you look at my really old videos, you will see a series that I sat down and had people who, back when I had a lot more active followers, um, they sent in questions, and um, I asked my mom those questions about me and our journey with my bipolar disorder. And there's like 4 20-minute videos. It's really interesting, especially if you're an adult living with a parent, um, or somebody. And anyway, so I said, now I have to explain something first. There was a line between me before and me after. Me before Seroquel and lithium CR um, was unstable, in and out of the hospital. Um, Anger outbursts, moods, just psychosis, and long mood changes, and it was very physically uncomfortable to be me. And after good psychiatrists and medication, um, it was completely different. And I was able to cope better, had less and shorter fluctuations, stopped ending up in the hospital. Was able to manage money better. And so I would say that I wouldn't even have to ask about before, because I remember having a complete meltdown in a doctor's office, a neurologist, for some neuralgia pain that I have. And it was like 2 hours away, and there was construction in the city that I, as someone who lived rurally, wouldn't have knowledge of. And I didn't drive in the city much, except to go to the one place that far downtown. And so I was late, and they couldn't get to me, and I blew up. And I kind of think my neurologist might have told the receptionist to just let me fizzle out and leave, that I have bipolar disorder, and just, because she didn't engage really in my behavior, and I was just completely and it wasn't a very vital appointment, but I couldn't handle situations like that. And so I think that, yeah, people could tell. And my anxiety was so much higher, my social anxiety. And so I didn't talk to people. I avoided people. It was just too stressful. So I would be fidgety. I almost think that someone might mistake me for being on the spectrum when I have that. I'm do things that would help me, and fidgety things, and eye contact. None. And sometimes I still have those moments. Um, and sometimes I don't. But it's nothing like it was before when I like couldn't call, order a pizza or go in the gas station because I didn't want the cashier to talk to me. Because I was worried about what to say back. I mean, what is the cashier gonna say to you? Anyway, have a nice day. I mean, there's only one thing you throw back at people who are cashiers. Hey, have you have a good day too. And but for some reason, for me, uh, well, the chemicals weren't right, and I wouldn't be able to retrieve anything in situations that required my input. Much less a very stressful one. And my mom used to have to come to my doctor's appointments. So because I couldn't handle it, getting there on time, not getting lost, it was just a fat mess. And got the right meds, the right therapies, cognitive behavioral, and and I can cope. And I am like, this is over a lot of years, but I am so far. I'm still disabled. Um, but I had part-time paying jobs that I actually really worked harder at than and it was kind of detrimental to me. But like right now, I do dog training. I have those skills. Um, but it's just like an hour. I just have like one client a day of the week. Like I'll have 4 days, so 4 people, 4 hours a week. So sometimes depending if they have 2 dogs, it'll be 2 hours. I can talk to anybody confidently about dogs. Um, People are a little weirded out when when I first come I because of my difficulty interacting with people, I don't use a whole lot of talk. And most people communicate with words. And I use body language, hand gestures, and things like that. Um, and just a certain ease. And so their dogs will come up to me and do something. They're like, she's never done that to anybody. And they're like, wow, that's kind of creepy. Or how they can do the exact same thing except for their tone of voice isn't right. And I'll demonstrate for them, and they still don't get it. And it's not the same for each dog. Some dogs need a firmer stay, and some dogs that are more sensitive need a softer approach. It's some dogs do great with clickers, some do better with not. And I can read a dog in the first visit, and I can tell what they have problems with and things they don't realize. And I did recently have a woman say, you've only been here an hour and you already know my dogs better than I do. and I'm like, well, I just had a lot of experience, but it comes from observation. I've had many years of observing dogs, just observing. and watching, their how they interact, and then how they interact with each other, and then we come in and it's all discombobulated because we don't respond like dogs. So, so if you want to get to know your dog better, start behaving like a dog would. But there's like sometimes that dog that the other dogs defer to, and we don't say alpha anymore, but that's the leader of the pack. And then there's a mediator, and then there's the one that worries, and so um and just the slightest change of the tail, to go from tentative to okay, so um it's people I can't read. um well, it's not that I can't read them, it's because dogs don't lie. They can't lie. um we may misinterpret what they're saying, but people, what they speak, probably 80% of the time, is not what they're actually thinking. You know what I mean? Like, they might say something to not hurt your feelings. Dogs don't do that, you know? If they don't like what's going on, they're going to express it in some way. Um, so, like I said, I could just go on and on. I've read books, and not just books, but this big fat book is the best book ever. Um, it's really hard to come by. Um, I guard it with my life if I loan it out, and it's a photo essay where somebody had dogs in different situations, and they would take photographs of certain dog behaviors and explain how this one is different than this one. Like butt sniffing. There's the casual butt sniffing, all the way to the intrusive, almost proctological exam sniffing. And um, just all kind. That was the one of the best teaching tools about dogs. I think it was a study guide in dog behavior photo essay. Maybe when I'm done talking, I'll pause it and show it to you. Um, and I do dog training of, commands. I do basic commands, and I also address behavior issues, jumping, easy ones like jumping and digging and things. And some of the more serious ones I do have experience with food aggression, fear. Um, a lot of people think their dogs have um, separation anxiety, and I tell them put a camera up, your phone, something, leave for 15 or 20 minutes, and come back and watch what they're doing, because the destruction could be boredom and frustration, or just a puppy needing something to tear up, and not anxiety. So anxiety is very obvious when it really is anxiety, and you treat it different ways, so you don't know until you do it. So, and I have the best vet in our area uh, that knows my skills, and she refers them to me because the ones that she feels needs the one-on-one. Um, I guess one of the drawbacks is not everybody is willing to spend money like I spend on my dogs. Um, it's it they're well taken care of. Not that you're not taking well care. I understand that mine is over the top. I understand that somebody would not be able to afford the $600 surgery that my dog just had. Um, but I had to do it. I was fortunate enough to be able to do it in chunks payments. But a lot of people can't even, you know, and I understand that. I don't judge that at all. I know that I'm, you know, more maybe to my dogs than, to me. Um, anyway, enough about dogs. I see that's exactly what I'm saying. I can't stop. I just start talking about dogs and I can't stop. And I can't stop watching them. I I healthy dog relations are just so healthy that they have with each other. They all know where each other stands and nobody is beaten on, nobody that's healthy. And everybody's happy in their role. And so it's fun to watch and I wish people were more like that. So now I'm sorry, but like I said, that's what happens. I will move on to the bipolar part. Um, the bipolar part, so I asked my mom, and so we're talking about currently when I'm doing a lot better than the before that I just mentioned. Um, I asked her, I said, Mom, do you think that the people I come in contact with, say acquaintances, like people I run into that I knew from the shelter at the store, and we have a brief conversation, and we've done that a number of times. Do you think they can tell that there's something off with me at times? Um, or is it just people that know me like you see me every day for a long, like many, many years, um, that would be able to detect that something was off. Now, just like, now, take the situation where I was at the um, doctor's office and I had the blow up. That was with someone that wasn't even an acquaintance, it was a stranger. I don't think strangers can tell now at all because I just don't have that anymore. Um, but I think that some people do notice that sometimes I'm avoiding eye contact and I'm fidgety, and sometimes I'm more outgoing and confident and and easy at ease, and words come easily. I'm more animated. I think some people might have picked up on that, but they usually it's a small town and everybody knows everybody, so they may already know that I have bipolar disorder and anxiety, and so they get it. They don't, oh, okay, that's why. No biggie. Next time I see her, she's gonna be chatty, chatty, chatty. So, uh, But my mom said no, she doesn't think that acquaintances or anybody would be able to detect that there's something off with me sometimes. And I tried really hard to read her body language. Sorry, I keep sitting. I'm in a rocking chair and I keep sitting with really bad posture, and I've been doing it all day doing Harry Potter 3D puzzles, and so my back hurts. Um, so I knew I would watch her response as much as hear it. And she's like, "No, I don't think so. No, I don't think anybody notices anything." But I'm I'm hedging on possibly she didn't want me to. There might be a possibility she doesn't want me to feel uncomfortable, and maybe didn't want to say. But I mean, I think she would know that by saying, well, maybe there might be times when you're a little more peppy or not tugging as much, that they might notice it but not know what's wrong. Um, but she said no, she doesn't think anyone notices that I'm off sometimes. But I'm not 100% that she wasn't trying to make me not feel bad. So, um, I mean, I know that there are people that are having a harder time than me with their bipolar disorder and anxiety. And I do know what it feels like to go out in the world and know that you're giving off signals that say I'm not right right now. Um, and and sometimes, especially in the beginning when you're first diagnosed, you're worried that you're walking around with this big label on your shirt that says mentally unstable. You know, that is like my dreadest fear, is to be out of control of my own senses and reality, because I've been there. Uh-oh. Chapstick has disappeared. Hold on a sec. I can't function without the chapstick. Okay. So I kind of like doing my videos in this room, and it's a little more privacy. I can't do lives though. Upstairs really at all. They are pretty crappy. Um okay, so the my question is to other people with bipolar disorder. Um are you aware when you're off, when your mood or anxiety is at an extreme? Do you feel like people pick up on it? Do you feel self-conscious going out into the world? Do you worry that people notice something is wrong? My biggest concern is that my fidgety behaviors, and when I'm hypomanic, which I am in a hypomanic state, because I think it was the new diet. It's just a change, and good or bad. It's different, and it can do that. I didn't sleep well last night. My dreams were very active, and it was like I was awake the whole time, but running a marathon. Um, and it made my tardive dyskinesia really bad. And I was doing those Harry Potter puzzles, and I was like jerking really bad today. All my muscle groups were jerking. Um, and I had a puzzle piece in my hand, and my arm jerked, and I just like threw it up in the air. Um, which is only compounded by the essential tremor I have that is totally different neurological problem. And um, I have been exploring some things, and I've been reading the Bible, and I I have trouble turning the pages because of my hand tremors. Um, so um, anyway, I digress again. Um, my biggest fear is that my fidgety behaviors, and if I'm in a hypomanic, I might be very talkative and very movement. And I'm afraid if I'm out in public like that someone might think I'm on meth. That's my biggest, that's like my biggest fear. And I don't want that to sound judgy on people who are in the throes and of addiction. Um, I have I have a lot of family that has struggled with addiction, and so I think that's partly why I have that fear. Um, in abuse. Some people are addicted, some people just abuse drugs, medication. And I don't want I it's not that I'm it's not that I am thinking badly about people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Um well, I am a bit of a perfectionist. And part of it is me being a perfectionist, and I want to appear to be the best I can to other people, so maybe they won't suspect I want to be normal and I want to fit in and I want to be okay as far as society goes. And so one of those things is a fear of, you know, because the nature of addiction and abuse is being outside the social network of life. But also, the perfectionist in me wants to be the perfect person. Um, and um, also, the biggest fear is that if someone thinks I'm on drugs, they're not going to take me seriously. That they're going to like, if I found myself in a situation where I was having an anger outburst at a gas station or McDonald's, which I cannot eat anymore, um, or something, and they called the police, what are they first gonna assume? They're gonna treat me like a quote unquote druggie and not the person that has in the word bipolar has been um, belittled. This whole, oh, you're so bipolar. I'm so bipolar. It really belittles, it really minimizes the struggle that we go through when people talk like that. I I hate that. That is a real bother for me because I'm like, don't talk like that because you don't know what that really feels like. And it's easy for everybody to just, if even, I mean, if you're addicted to drugs, to be have like police called and they will treat you aggressively. If they know you have a psychiatric disorder, then you're going to be dismissed or treated like not an adult. Um, so that is a fear I have in society as someone with bipolar disorder. I don't want, if I tell someone I have bipolar disorder, I don't want them to think it's this just jargon I'm throwing around. I'm like, no, really, I have neurotransmitters that are whacked, and I take this medication or I'd probably be dead. And I possibly could have taken someone with me. So, um, and it would not be my fault. It's not something to make light of. So, when people are only used to making light of the term bipolar disorder, when they encounter an actual person with bipolar disorder, I mean, I have your pretty much stereotypical bipolar 1 disorder. And it belittles, the way they respond, that it's just this phrase you throw out. And I'm like, no, this is this very serious illness. Um, that has to be maintained every day, all day. So, and I used to be really, really open about the fact that I have bipolar disorder with the goal of other people not being ashamed to say it. But lately, I have been wanting to not. Um, I've been wanting to not want people to know, especially now that I have my own business. Um, because if people who hire me hear through the grapevine that um, if they hear, oh, she has mental problems, she has bipolar disorder, she's crazy, and usually they get it wrong and they're like, yeah, she's schizophrenic, don't you know that? Then they may not hire me and they're missing out. So, anyway, um, so I don't know, I didn't think I got a whole lot out of that answer that I asked my mom. Um, anyway, um, please feel free to comment on how you feel about people you and maybe are close to, acquaintances, strangers, and your symptoms coming out for them to see. Do you keep it a secret? Do you tell people? Or just, I didn't like just tell everybody everywhere. If it was like in the conversation or, you know, it was appropriate for the moment, I would say it. And um, it would have to be strategic in some cases. And so, and if it bothers you, I'd like to know, does it bother you? If would it bother you if people could tell you were off a little bit sometimes? Um, or any other comments? And and if you have someone you can ask, maybe. If you like this video, I would appreciate a like. My viewers, active viewers are pretty low right now. So any interaction would be appreciated. A like, a comment, a subscribe. If you am not really into my videos from recent times, you might like the older ones that were from when I was more symptomatic. I cry a lot in those. I mean, like sobs, nodding, and stuff. People seem to be really attracted to that, but I don't cry as much anymore because I'm in a whole different mindset than I was then. But I do cover a lot of the topics, and I guess I should go back and maybe readdress some of those topics. I just been busy between me not feeling well and my dog in his surgery, because it takes a lot of physical rehab we have to do throughout the day with his knee. So hold on, I'm going to see if I can find that book I was talking about. Okay, I got it. I just like a bothering with my hair because I need it. My hair stuff should be arriving hopefully today. Get some pink hair going. I have some red dye I want to use. I have some yellow dye I want to use, and I have some of the pink and blue I usually use. And I was like, I think I just want to take the plunge and do the yellow, because I'm a Harry Potter fan and I'm Hufflepuff, and I just thought it would be so cool. But it's a permanent, and I'm used to a slow washout type dye. So this is the book. Canine Body Language, a photographic guide. So, Brenda Aloff. It's difficult to find. This is a playbow. So, let me find an example here. I'll find the butt sniffing one because everyone gets a big laugh out of that one. Okay, so here you have the casual butt sniff. Would be proctology exam. This is butt sniff acceptance, where the dog knows the other dog is butt sniffing and lifts their tail or moves it to the side to allow the dog. Sniffing on the pass by. So a quick sniff as they're walking by. A puppy using the butt sniff. But I mean, they tell you what it is, what it means. So they have that and like a series of play pictures taken during one encounter and what all these mean. And what a lot of people think is aggressive behavior is not. Sometimes it's just communication and sometimes it's play. My little dog will grumble and because he wants something. And if you don't respond, then he'll turn into a bark. It's not a growl, it's a communication. So, anyway, if you want to learn about dog body language, this is the book you get. But, like I said, it's hard to find. And I think it was a little more expensive, but it was definitely worth it. Okay, so this is way long. I'm going to say goodnight because I need to get some good sleep tonight or I'm going to be in trouble because, excuse me, two nights of not good sleep can mess me up. It makes me hyper. It can make the hypomanic into manic and I'm starting to feel my meds kick in. So I'm hoping I will fall asleep soon. So I have to hurry up and get into my usual bedtime hygiene routine. And so I will wish you all a good night, a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate, then it'll be Happy Friday or Thursday. What is today? I'm lost. I think today is Thursday. Well, technically it's Friday because it's 12:14 a.m. And maybe I'll get one before New Year's. If not, Happy New Year's. My New Year's resolution. Maybe I'll do I'll do one on resolutions. Bipolar resolutions. That's a good idea. So, all right. Good night. Bye. Oh, wait. Go away. Go away. Hide. Bye.